Alrighty, brothers and sisters, you've probably seen what's happening right now in the markets. We are seeing a little correction, and altcoins seeing as well a little correction because of some war happening, and something that we've seen before, Israel and Iran going at it, and we've seen this pretty much happen last year, I do think. So what we see now is a little drop from Bitcoin after the news broke out and people knew about it, and funny enough, it just crashed right after the news came out. And usually people don't understand. I used to not understand what actually happens, why the market crashes so fast right after the news come out. If you go on Twitter, as soon as the news come out, like 1 minute, the market is already down, and people don't understand who is selling. Why are people selling? Why are people reacting to this? Now I'm gonna let you on a little secret here. Now, especially when it comes to these large cryptos like Bitcoin, stocks, everything. Now these prices are not only retail buying and selling, but usually this is like market makers. So market makers, they do follow what we call a trend. And whenever they can sense that something can cause the market to shake or retail to sell, they do sell before a retail. That's why sometimes when you go on Twitter, you see the news 1 minute, the news has just come out and the market is already down, and you don't understand how people are already selling. How are they doing that so fast? And you feel like you are left behind, or like something is happening. And usually this is a good time for as well the market makers, because this is a leverage trading market, which means people can get liquidated and lose their money, and they have stop losses, they have all that stuff. So this is a little secret, right, that nobody will tell you. Probably people don't know about it. But what happens is, let's go on that 1 hour chart. So the market is trading normally, right? Like you see this market trading normally, then like suddenly there is like a huge move down and up. Usually this is like liquidations. They're hunting for stops. Market makers trying to sell before the retail, because they don't know how the retail will react to the news. Retail, by retail I mean you and me and stuff. Like I'm not actually looking at Twitter and I see a tweet 1 minute there is war and I'm going straight away to start selling. Like I don't know who is that fast other than algorithms and market makers basically. So just so you know, this is not something related to actually the war. So the market's usually just pricing quickly that the market makers drop the price or pump the price to see if the retail is going to get triggered to either side of the market. Are they going to follow the downtrend or are they going to follow the uptrend? If nothing happens, the market recovers and we continue on our merry way. This is what we're seeing happening here. If we look at the hourly chart on Bitcoin, it is continuing its way up or coming back to its previous range. And the reason it is coming back, this is the market makers again pushing the prices back to where they were, because they were the ones selling. So I hope this makes sense, and usually they do that as well. It's a good opportunity for the market makers to liquidate positions and close positions and do all that stuff, because it gives them a good reason to do so, because people believe this is because of the war. So does the war actually cause any drops, or has the war ever caused any problems or black swan events? Now the only black swan events I remember that caused crypto to collapse or crash is the COVID crash, which got it to crash and then come back up. And then when Ukraine and Russia war happened, actually this happened in the bear market. So it happened right around here, and funny enough, it happened right around here and the market pumped. So just to give you a perspective, it happened and the market pumped, and I remember that pretty well. Bitcoin went to $48,000 while people were screaming that is war and all that. But it pumped. The reason why it pumped, some people are saying, it's because Russia got some sanctions and they had to flee. Like people that wanted to flee the country, they needed to buy Bitcoin to get their money off the country. So Bitcoin and cryptos are not only a bad thing when war happened, they can also be a good thing. Like in the example of Russia, when that happened, this was bullish for Bitcoin. In fact, it pumped right after a major Bitcoin crash, because people had to buy it to escape, because banks can close and get sanctioned and all that stuff. That's why basically the crypto exists, is for people to have their own banks, and that's something we've seen here. And the COVID crash, black swan event, and basically the 2017 bear market happened right after major hype, major FOMO and all that. That's usual blow off top kind of bear market happens. Also rates, that's very important. That's the most important thing here, because that's what stopped the bull market in 2021. The reason that bull market stopped is because the Feds decided to increase rates after they printed a shitload of money in COVID. and they started raising rates right around this top, and it crashed. People started to blame this on meme coins, on over leveraging, on a lot of that stuff. But in fact, the problem was that the Fed started raising rates, and today they are about to start cutting rates. So that's a total different type of market. That is why I don't get shaken when I see any type of news like what today, and also because I know what's going on behind the scenes. Whenever a news comes out and it's 1 minute, the news just came out and the market is already down. As you know, this is not retail selling. Retail is not that fast to be selling billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin per minute or per second. These are market makers hunting for stops and whatnot and all that stuff. Now, I know personally that Bitcoin will still continue on this uptrend. We are not finished yet. Bitcoin is going much, much higher than here. And I do believe, and the reason is because of the upcoming rate cuts. And if we look at the dollar, which is crashing, usually people buy Bitcoin because they want to hedge against inflation and against a weaker dollar, which is crashing now. It is crashing, it is dropping. Usually after Trump takes office, the dollar crashes like we've seen in 2017. And we see now today pretty much it's the same exact fractal playing out, exactly the same, dollar crashing. Now, what do you do when you know the dollar is going down? You cannot hold it because it's going to lose its value. People buy stuff like Bitcoin. Now, when you see Bitcoin crashed a little bit, that's what caused altcoins to dump. So altcoins have nothing wrong going on with them. They just went down a little bit because of Bitcoin going down, and as well Ethereum. So when Ethereum drops a little bit as well, that causes alts to drop. So now you understand how this market works. Hopefully that whenever you see something like this happen, I do usually check out Bitcoin, and then I check out Ethereum second. That's when I know what's going on, what's happening. So when you look at ETH, actually ETH is pretty strong, to be honest with you. ETH is holding strong here. It's still within this range, which is the most important here. It is within this range. Now, usually those ranges on Ethereum, they do follow suit. Whenever they are to the downside, it continues to the downside. If it's on the upside, it continues to the upside, like we've seen here as well. This was pretty much the same zone, the same area. So there is a lot of demand and supply and demand around this area here, which is between 2,800 and 2,100, let's say, or 2,200 for Ethereum. This is pretty much where Ethereum's find its struggles in its life, and once it breaks out from there, it continues. As we see, we have another one here, and by now you all understand that when Ethereum is not pumping, or when Ethereum goes up, altcoins and meme coins go up, and when Ethereum goes down, altcoins and meme coins go down. So that's pretty much what's going on here. The plan continues, remains the same. Meme coins are bullish, and the meme coins I shared with you are still very bullish. Everything is fine. Now, as I explained, whenever there is a news or something like that and you see a reaction in the market, understand that this is pretty much what they're doing, is market makers hunting stops, hunting positions, liquidating positions, doing all what they have to do. Use the news as much as they can to get whatever done they wanted to get done, and continue on to whatever the trend was organically, which was to the upside on Bitcoin, as there is huge demand. Now, if we look at the Bitcoin ETFs, we're still seeing huge demand for Bitcoin. As of the 9th of June, we had 386 million buys coming in from the ETFs, 431 million the second day, 164 million on the 11th. Yesterday, $86 million. And today we're still waiting for this to come out. But as you see, even in a war time, they are still buying Bitcoin, and they are still buying even more Ethereum. As yesterday, $112 million buying Ethereum, especially BlackRock buying $100 million worth of Ethereum. And on the 11th, one of the biggest days in inflows on Ethereum we've ever seen, $163 million worth of Ethereum. Just from BlackRock alone, one of the biggest days we've seen on Ethereum, 240 million. So you do understand here that when there is fraud and there is war and all that, that is a point. When there is fraud and there is war and there is all that, you know who is buying, and when they shake the prices, who's going to take advantage of the dip is these ETFs and the big banks, as they are buying. Now, a lot of people keep drawing conclusions based on what happened in 2021, especially YouTubers, because they still are not, for some reason, they haven't updated their software or something, but they do not understand we have ETFs today, not like in 2021. Now, the new cycle is different than 2021. This cycle is very different than 2021. And because we have ETFs, you see these kind of stuff we did not have back in the days when the market dropped, it dropped, but now it does not happen. And as we've seen since 2023, and basically since the ETFs, whenever we have any major dips, they do get bought up very quickly. And as I said, we're still going much higher. This cycle is pretty much gonna be based on these guys buying, and you cannot tell me that these guys buying here are gonna get dumped on and they're gonna retail is gonna win here. So they are buying. At some point retail is gonna come, and you know why they are buying as well. It's because when you look at the dollar, it makes sense why they are buying. When you look at the dollar crashing, it does make sense why they are buying assets like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, pretty much buying everything, because they see this happening. They see the dollar crashing. They know at some point they're gonna have to advise their clients to buy Bitcoin and to buy Ethereum. They want that stuff to get sold off from their hands. At some point, they're gonna sell their bags as well. So at this point, they're buying. At some point, they're gonna want to sell their bags. So they know the dollar is going down. Pretty much that's why they are buying. They don't care about the news. And this video is to tell you to not care as well about the news. Now, usually the market does not top on bad news. There is no warning here when it comes to cryptos. There is nobody just gonna come and knock at your door and tell you you should sell. The bull market is over. It does not happen like that. Usually the market tops on good news. Like back in the days here in 2021, we had El Salvador buying Bitcoin. We had the CME futures, and we had Coinbase going public. We had all kind of stuff happen. And this was pretty much good news after good news after good news after good news. Now, the bad news was that the rates, the Fed started to increase rates. Now, you cannot do anything around that. Now, when they say they are going to increase rates, usually that's not a good news. But other than that, every bad news is usually a bottom signal, like we had with Germany selling here, and we had here recently the tariffs. And pretty much whenever we have bad news, the market bottom on these bad news. Like here we had the news with the ETFs being approved, and it continues up and continues up and continues up. So you see the picture here. So the market does not top on bad news unless it's rates, but does bottom on bad news and tops on good news. Now, we still don't know what's the biggest big news here for Bitcoin, but still so far Bitcoin is looking strong, and we're still waiting for the alt season to happen. And I know a lot of people are being very impatient here, but we cannot do anything here. All we can do here is wait and be patient. As you look at Ethereum now, last month had the largest weekly engulfing candle, so don't forget that we're still on this bullish uptrend here for Ethereum. And when this actually takes off and start to rally, this is what causes the major alt season that we're waiting for. So I'm here as well. It's boring. This chop is boring. This thing is boring. I don't even know what to say anymore on YouTube, but we are here. We have to wait. We got nothing to do here but to wait. As when Ethereum pumps, usually this usually leads to major alt season. Now, if we put total 2, which is all other crypto assets, whenever Ethereum pumps, they follow, and that's what we're waiting for again to happen. Now, you see the weakness when Bitcoin drops, when Ethereum drops total 2, which is all cryptocurrencies besides Bitcoin, they don't do well. They do need to wait for Ethereum to pump, and then they start to rally as well. Ethereum pumping creates major FOMO towards and speculation towards altcoins, because it's an altcoin and it's the largest altcoin so far. And if the largest altcoin is moving, other altcoins start to move, and especially as well the ecosystem, Ethereum meme coins and Ethereum coins, whatever coins is on Ethereum will increase drastically in price, just because Ethereum is pumping and there is a money injection and liquidity coming into the space when that starts to happen. If you want to know best low cap memes to buy, you can watch this video here. And thank you so much for watching today's video till the end, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.